Welcome to a new episode. Today I have the pleasure of talking and meditating with a yogi, meditation teacher, and healer. In 2006, he became a Hatha and Kundalini yoga teacher and has been actively teaching ever since. In 2007, he started learning Sadhana Rasayan, a technique based on healing through the power of silence. After all these years, he has developed a deep meditative state and has created his own personal meditation technique called conscious meditative healing. He always felt a deep connection with Mahavatar Babaji, and he started channeling in June of 2022. Since then, he became a bridge between humans and the spiritual world. He's committed to keep improving so he can serve humanity in a more efficient way. Welcome to the show, Sasha Sananda.
Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you to you for being here. Yes, I took from your website. Sasha, we always like to start the interviews with a single question. How did yoga appear in your life?
How did yoga appear in my life? I used to work in a fitness studio, and I was working in an office there, and sometimes I used to work as a trainer because I did fitness from a very young age, and I was into it, so I knew how to train, and I was helping out a little bit, and I was doing a little bit of everything. And in the back office, they had a yoga book, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Nice. I always wanted to do yoga. I always found it very interesting. I was always interested in this kind of, Buddhism, Asian philosophy, and Qigong, Tai Chi. I found it kind of interesting. And when I saw this book, I took it home, and then I started to do the yoga movements. And I recognized very fast that I had a very deep impact in my system. I was always very sensitive, but when I started to just sit in the meditative pose, I recognized that it was calming me down, calming my mind. And I was like, wow, that's really powerful. Just by sitting in an easy pose, how strong is this posture? And then I did all these postures by myself, and like, wow, that's super, super nice. And I continue because I just with this little exercise that I did, it was very, it gave me a lot because my mind was always very busy and was not really working for me. So I knew someday I'm going to meditate, but I never knew when and how and everything. And this book helped me to find my path to yoga. And then I met someone, a friend of mine, in this fitness studio, and she was like, you should try Kundalini yoga. You're gonna like it. I have a good feeling. It's something, I feel that you're into it, and you would like it. And then it's like, yeah, read Kundalini yoga. I never heard of it. It's like, okay. And then she's like, I recommend you a book. Buy this book, this manual. And I was like, okay. I bought it, and she gave me the book of Yogi Bhajan, The Mind, and she gave me, I remember my first Kundalini yoga CD. I don't remember the name of it, but it was Circle of Light, I think. Yeah. And she gave me everything. She was providing me with all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you should do a level 1 with my teacher, Atma Singh from Bielefeld. It's like, okay, yeah, why not? And she's like, yeah, you should start to meditate. I was like, I did literally everything that she told me because I kind of knew that something that my third eye was so active when I was talking with her about Kundalini yoga and about meditation. Everything was like screaming at me. I was like, yeah, there must be something. I really have to do it. And she's like, yeah, you should do first Hatha yoga because you have to prepare yourself, your nervous system and everything. And then you should do Kundalini yoga. And I did it. I found a Hatha yoga teacher who's also a Kundalini yoga teacher in Cologne. And then I started first with Hatha yoga. Like I could join the classes for free because I was participating in this Hatha yoga education. I could do Ashtanga yoga, I could do Hatha yoga, I could do Kundalini yoga, everything for free because I was doing this 1 year of training. And then afterward, while I was participating in this Hatha yoga training, I started with Kundalini yoga because, I really wanted to do Kundalini yoga. And when I arrived there for the very first time at this place where the Kundalini yoga level 1 was, the training where it was happening in this beautiful house in almost like in a forest, I was like, oh my God, I arrived home, I'm home. This feels like home. That was like very overwhelming, and I felt very, I was arriving home. I felt great. So, but this was just the beginning of a journey that was so intense, and is still intense. But when you start the healing process and when you start the process of transformation, there's so many things are coming up, and you realize so many things about yourself that you didn't know. That I was such in a deep mess. I didn't even realize how distracted I was and how weak my nervous system was. And I went really into it, like all or nothing. And I was really hard on myself. I have a lot of discipline, but I was meditating from the very first day I got this book of the mind. I did 1 hour every morning since the beginning. Before I start with Hatha yoga training or with Kundalini yoga training, I really started to do my meditating by myself, and I loved it. I was like, this is the best thing that ever happened in my life, and I love to meditate. This is something I really, really love. And if you would tell me, no, please don't meditate today, I was like, no, I'm gonna meditate. And then I started to, while I was in the Kundalini yoga education, I started with Satnam Rasayan because she also introduced me to Sven Butz, which is a very, very good teacher in Germany. And he said, like, you're gonna like this guy. And we had a really good connection with each other. And I started to do level 1 of Satnam Rasayan. And why I did level 1 of Satnam Rasayan, I also did level 2 already. I was like, I did everything. I wanted to do everything as much as possible. And then I went to India to do the Raymond Shabbat in Rishikesh. And I participate so many japas. We did so many different retreats. We did the Kundalini Soji in Holland, and I went into it, and I thought all or nothing. You have to take everything what you get, because you never know how long Gurudev is going to be alive. So I did as much as I could, and it was very intense. And but it's a journey that never ends. You always, every morning when you meditate, you have to face all your garbage. And it never stops. And I think that's actually what I like about this path, because it never stops. You know, you never stop to meditate. You never stop to develop. You never stop to grow. You never stop to work on yourself and to be more empty, that you have more capacities to help others. That's the intention that I have. And and then when I came to Spain, and I start to live here with my wife, we always had from the beginning, a very strong connection with Mahavatar Babaji, because I read the autobiography of Yogi, and this book came also while I was doing the Kundalini yoga education with Atma Singh. One of the students gave it to me, and I was like, oh my God, this is such a beautiful book. And I read it, and I felt so touched by the connection to Babaji and Lahima Asaya and Sri Yukteswar and Paramahansa Yogananda. I felt very touched by it. So this book gave me so much. And and Vanessa and me, we had a really strong connection to this mantra that I found and I gave to her, and which she recorded in a new version of it. And it's a mantra dedicated to Mahavatar Babaji. And so, yeah, we're like, there is a connection that I have to him, but I didn't know really how, you know. But I felt there was a deep connection to Mahavatar Babaji, but I didn't really understand until a person, a healer, a very good healer, and she is able to talk to the spirits and everything. So she told me that, yeah, Mahavatar Babaji is my master, and he's always with me. And I was like, wow, what? That's, well, I gave my life and my path a completely different direction. And was like, okay, how can I use this connection to help others, you know? So yeah, but Mahavatar Babaji came then in my life a little bit later, and then I didn't know really how to connect and to integrate this connection that I have with him in my spiritual practice. I was like, okay, what should I do? How, you know, I was trying to find my way. And then I had the idea of, yeah, I'm not a Satnam Rasayan teacher because I didn't do the training of Satnam Rasayan teacher. And I never made, actually I did level 2, but I never made the exam. And yeah, you know, you have to have the permission to teach Satnam Rasayan. And I really never felt like I'm going to be a Satnam Rasayan teacher. So I was like, yeah, I did everything, level 1, level 2, but I really never felt that I'm going to be a Satnam Rasayan teacher. So I always try to find, since I knew that Mahavatar Babaji is so present in my life, to integrate this and to use this. So then I started channeling. Like I felt that I could talk to the spirits. It happened the first time in Mexico when I was talking to a spirit, and I knew, yeah, okay, I felt there was like a connection that I had and I could channel, but I didn't really care. For me, it was never something that it was like, okay, I'm gonna channel spirits, or I'm gonna connect to ascended masters, or, you know, was never my intention. But then it got more and more obvious that I was really connected to this world, and I really could bring this connection to the ground, to earth, and to connect to Mahavatar Babaji in a way that I can talk with him. And that was a new experience for me, that I knew I could communicate with this powerful energy, this powerful master, and I could help others to increase my capacity of light, you know, to bring this light on earth and to spread this light and to share this light. And it happened many times when I give healing treatments, that when I channel a specific master, that what comes as an information, as a transmission, is so helpful and so uplifting for the client, that it's always, it's every time I do it, it's fresh, it's new. The energy that comes, it's completely like, I give it so much space that I don't really care what it says. It just comes, you know. And that makes it so powerful for me and for the client, or for the person that receives a channeling or a healing. This transmission is so clear and so powerful that, I'm very speechless in that way, because I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to give this to the people, you know. This is the biggest blessing ever, because every time I channel, I receive so much that sorry.
It's okay, Sachin. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all these. I understand it's a really extreme experience, no?
Oh yes, it is. It is very extreme, and to integrate everything is, yeah, because sometimes after channeling it, they take so much space because their vibration is so high. I have no other chance to increasing my capacity of my nervous system to integrate their space, you know. And my nervous system was always my weakness, and I always had to work on it, and still doing it. So, but because of that, I have more capacity on that to hold the space, because it's literally a space where you don't react anymore, where you allow everything. It's, you know, Satnam Rasayan helped me a lot to develop this space, and also this conscious meditative feeling is literally based on the space of Satnam Rasayan, not with the intention that you become a teacher. No, that you are able to use the space of Satnam Rasayan for your own purpose when you meditate. That you have this intuitive meditative state where you use the observative space that you have in Satnam Rasayan for the purpose during you meditate to elevate your meditation process. That's why I came to the idea. Not everybody wants to be a healer, but many people would like to have a deeper and more profound experience while they meditate. And the space of Satnam Rasayan can help you to use this space to be more interactive while you meditate. Because while you meditate, you can do so many things when you have the awareness of your own space that goes beyond a normal meditation when you just sit down and you just allow the posture to work on you. No, there is so much more that you can do, and you can have a deep impact on the process of meditation when you do it from a different point of awareness.
Yes. Actually, after 75 more or less interviews, nobody mentioned before Mahavatar Babaji. So for those that are watching this interview, who is, let's say, is in present now, who is Mahavatar Babaji?
Who is Mahavatar Babaji? Yeah, there are many opinions about him, and there are actually many teacher or master or sadhus who talk about Mahavatar Babaji, and they say that he once was on earth, which I cannot agree to this, because when I connect to Mahavatar Babaji, I feel that he is a presence, or he's a projection of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is like the masculine, the energy that destroys the illusion, and Shakti is this, the Kundalini energy, the feminine, the creative energy, and he is a projection of both. And he is the absolute balance of the masculine and the feminine. He once was a teacher of Jesus Christ, and he is, how to describe Mahavatar Babaji, what I feel when I connect with him. He is so powerful in his presence, and he goes to Himalayas, he meditates there. And literally my first contact to Mahavatar Babaji in a physical way was this painting that is behind me, that my wife painted for me for my birthday. And when I touched this painting, there's cold air coming out of this painting, because his quality is cold. He has a very cold quality, and he's literally the protector of this planet, but dedicated to unconditional love. He is like unconditional love that protects this planet, and he has a lot of humor, and he's very clear, very grounded as well. He has the quality that he is so grounded, but so yeah, so open in his space. This, yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to find words for what I feel when I connect with him. And but if you want, I think it never happened before, but if you want, I can connect to him and I can channel him and we can let him talk. Would you like this or?
Of course. But before that, I will like just a few more questions for Sasha
Sure.
before doing that.
Of course.
For example, this new, let's say, technique or your own technique, conscious healing meditation, how would you explain what is this technique about to a person that have never meditated before, for example?
Okay. It is a technique like Satnam that is dedicated to become aware about your own space in relationship to the process of meditation and to bring more awareness in a contemplative state while you are in the meditation to transform your blockages that you have in your system. When you meditate, when you do Satnam Rasayan, you're in relation to another person normally, and you feel the impact of the other person in you, and in the space that you are, in this meditative, contemplative, intuitive space, and they call it para-projective intuitive meditative state. When you are in this state, you have the ability, just by allowing and by contemplating, by feeling, in this quality of shunya, that you can transform the blockages and the tendencies in your system. The technique that I developed is dedicated to your own personal process. That means when you meditate, I will help within this process, because we are planning to do Zoom classes, and we're going to have classes where many people are going to meditate, and I will guide their process of meditation in the direction of the ability to contemplate and to feel themselves in the process and allow to transform their blockages and their tendencies while they're meditating. Because you can be so creative and so free within the system that you allow yourself to, for example, you sit down and you realize that your first chakra is completely out of balance, or you feel that you are very distracted, and then you can use the space of silence to connect, for example, to sounds, and you can allow the sounds to run through your body, and you use the sounds to connect to the element of water. And while you do this, you can see how your system is changing, and like a mandala that's completely flowing and changing, and you can feel that your body is adjusting itself just by the experience of allowing the impact of different sensations, hearing, feeling. Yeah, it goes so far that you can connect to different light beings, to include this in your spiritual practice, to just open your space, because what we need is a very open and creative space and awareness. And this technique will include everything, just to transform and to uplift your own sensation and your own presence and your own electromagnetic field.
Thank you for explaining that way. I think it was quite clear. Before going to the channeling,
Yes,
excited about that. You, Sasha, after all these channelings, previous one that you have done, what message or information from Babaji have been more relevant for you? More like have transformed more your life?
That's a very good one. Normally, when I channel, for me, the information, what they talk about is not so important, because normally it's always related to the present moment, and also related to the person who's talking to the channel, which is mostly my wife. So, or if I have a client, it's a client that wants to have a personal channel. It is all about don't put us on an altar. Don't worship us. We are more closer than you think we are. We are more present than you think we are. And we don't want to have distance. We want to be close, and we want to help. We want to serve you. We want to help humanity in its process. And it is not about distance anymore. It's about allow, integrate, feel their space, and use their space for your own transformation, for your own progress, for your own growing. And they are there waiting for help, waiting to help. And that's what I get from these transmissions. Like I said, I'm not into it, what they're saying, because for me, it's not very important. I actually don't remember when I'm channeling, I can't remember what I said the whole half an hour, because for me, it's not important. I don't really care. For me, it's important what I feel when I have this transmission. This is way more important for all the information, because I can give you so many informations. We channeled Jesus so many times, Lady Nada, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel. There are so many informations that they give me, but for me, it's all not important. We channeled Ganesha. Very interesting. He really has a trunk. I've never thought I thought it was Indian fantasy that he is half elephant and half human, but he has a trunk. When I channel him, he always wants to put his trunk up, going always with my head up, because he's moving his trunk all the time. And I thought it's like Indian fantasies, but I feel no, there is way more behind this. And yes, they have many informations, but mostly these informations are beyond my capacity of understanding, because my mind is definitely not so developed that I can understand what they're talking about, because my mind will always try to understand what's happening, and it is not possible, because it's beyond the capacity. I have the capacity when I feel, but when I go into my mind and I channel, then it's over, because I want to understand what they're talking about, but it doesn't work because my mind doesn't have the capacity. So yeah, literally then I don't want to understand what they're talking about. It is interesting, but it's not important. But the main message is, like I said, it's don't put us on an altar. It creates only distance. It separates you from us, but because you are also God, you are a part of God, and we are all the same. And you know, you have a physical body, we don't have a physical body, but it doesn't separate us from you. And but yeah, this is one of the information, and the other information that we received from Jesus, which was very, very interesting. He was talking about that the way they use his name to manipulate people. That was very, very interesting, because he said, listen, since I died, there was so much masculine power, and there was all about putting me on an altar, making me as a god, creating distance, using me as a figure to create distance, to have power over the people, separate the people from God, you know, because we are all a projection of God. We have this capacity. We all are a spiritual being that makes a human experience. That says it all. So there is no separation. There is no limitation. And it's all about unity. They only talk about unity. Don't put us on an altar. Don't create distance to us. We are here to help and to serve.
Beautiful, beautiful message. Thank you for sharing all this, Sasha. Well, now let's go to the channeling, if you don't mind. And
yes, I had the feeling it might be a good opportunity, because he's like searching for ways how he can share his space with the people, and he was doing it years ago with books. He appeared to people who wrote a book, and they wrote down what he told them and everything. And now the time changed, and now we have all these social medias, and he's willing to use these channels to bring awareness to the people, and also to his he's not a person, but to his appearance, no? So in that way, he has the opportunity to reach the people. So it's very interesting. He says many times, you know, he has to use this channel for reaching the people, and that totally makes sense. And I will connect to him, and then let's see what he has to say. Yes, it is about reaching the people, because the people are within their own responsibilities. And they have to understand that with this process of transformation that you are all into, and that's what you have in common. That's what you're all sharing. You are sharing your experiences on this planet, on this realm. It is a space especially designed for you. You are the main characters. It's your playground where you can grow, you can make your experience, where you can learn. And to have this awareness and consciousness, to understand this life on earth, and to use it in a way where you can benefit, where your soul can benefit, this is essential for the soul. It's about your personal process. You are all children of God. It is a process of remembering. And sometimes you forget, and sometimes you remember. But to maintain this memory, it's within your process. It's a part of it. That's why you do all this work. And there is no fascination needed. It's something very grounded and very simple and very easy. There's a reason why all these yogis, for thousands of years, for centuries, they went to places, isolating themselves. But this was in the time when it was needed. This only happened because the cosmic constellations were different. Now everything is opening up. And there is no need anymore to isolate yourself. Isolating is separation. You don't have to isolate yourself anymore. You don't need to go in a cave. It's about unity. It's about coming together. It's about unity. And it has to be a personal process. Because the people, they have to solve their resistance within themselves, overcome their resistance, which is literally based on their experience, which created separation in the first place. And this will give you the foundation to trust unity. It is all about trust. And if my presence cannot give you trust, then you have a resistance. Because I represent the presence of God. But God for you, and for the most of the people, is fantasy. So many people learn that God is out of themselves, beyond. Everything is happening on earth. It's your place. But you know, the number 8, connection between earth and the spiritual world. Once you understand, you will understand there is no spiritual world and there is no earth. There's only God. And when you understand this, there will be no suffering anymore. There will be infinite joy. But now you understand why you're on earth. You are God. A God that is sleeping. But you have to wake up. If you are in fear, and if you worry, you are still deep asleep. God is laughing. He is infinite laughter and joy. Infinite bliss. I'm here to help you to wake up. To recognize that you recognize this bliss, this infinite laughter, this joy. Everything else is illusion. You will never find this with your mind. It's within the memory of your soul. It's God and only God. It's joy. and to understand what is between you and this joy, to recognize it, you call it an experience. You call it identification. You call it limitation. That's why you're here on earth. How many reincarnations you need is up to you. It's like stairway, steps you go. The more you identify with this world, the less you identify and to feel the spiritual world. It has two directions. You can either go more into the illusion or more to the truth. But there are so many ideas about the truth that come from this illusion. Because you have to understand this truth within the illusion. That doesn't make it easier. But you need the challenge to grow. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for this amazing experience and messages, actually.
You're very welcome. To the benefit of channeling is so tremendous, to allow the spirit to have its space and to express itself, that whenever I channel, there's always a part of me that receives this transmission. And I received so many healings from either from Lord Sananda or from Jesus or from Babaji or from Buddha. Buddha is incredible. I mean, what do I have to say about Buddha? We know who Buddha was, but or Saint Francis, how he talks about the animals and what he was explaining about the animals and how he used the animals to connect to God. Whenever I connect to these masters, there's always a part of me that receives a transmission, and it's so supportive and yeah, it gives me so much more capacity and so much more light and so much more, yeah, I don't know, so much more opportunities and so much more flow and so much more healing. It's just a healing process over and over again. Yeah, it is beautiful.
Yes, indeed. Sasha, my only last question after this experience, because I think it doesn't make sense asking more questions after this, honestly. However, I would like, because we always close the interview with a single question, and it's for you in this case. If you have only one wish for you and the rest of the humanity, what will you wish for?
And this is a question for the wrong person. Because everything in life is experience, and the way I perceive and receive life is not about hope or something that I wish what would happen, because everything is within the manifestation of the moment, and the manifestation of the moment is absolutely perfect. And I wouldn't interfere for a second with the intention for something else that is not within God. Therefore, I have no wish for anyone in this world and not for me. Everything that I have is a blessing, and everything that happens, whatever happens on this earth is absolutely perfect and has to happen. So there is nothing I wish for.
Thank you. Thank you for that message. Really appreciate it. Well, now it's time to maybe meditating, no, together.
Okay.
I will give you this microphone is all yours now to share whatever meditation you want. I really appreciate this time. I really enjoyed the experience, Sasha.
Thank you.
Really, thank you. I hope, I'm pretty sure that we will meet in person sooner or later.
That will be amazing. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share this with you and to express myself. Thank you so much.